What's going on, guys? So you're in for a treat today. A lot of folks ask me time and time again in the comment section as well as my email if I could show them something super small, super cheap, and is there really anything that's affordable these days? So I think I found something you might be interested in. I think I've actually featured this one before, but people really like these super compact trailers that are lightweight, easy to tow, and I think this is going to be appealing to a lot of folks. Guys, hang tight, I'll be right back. All right, so before we get started, let's take a look at the numbers on this behemoth. So this beast is going to have a gross vehicle weight rating of 3,750 pounds. It's going to have a cargo capacity of 1,261 pounds, and it's going to ride on one single 3,500 pound rated axle, which is fine because you're going to transfer roughly 300 pounds to your tow vehicle. So the axle is more than enough for what you're going to be using this trailer for, especially considering most people won't get anywhere near the 1,261 pounds of cargo capacity, which means the dry weight on this unit is going to be 2,472 pounds, 16 foot 6 inches long. This thing is tiny. What can you tow this with? Anything really that has a tow capacity over 4,000 pounds. It's probably the best way of saying it. As long as you're very careful that you have the actual tow package for your vehicle, you have the connections to be able to connect to the brakes and the lighting on this vehicle, and I guess most importantly, you're very dang careful when you tow. That's really what it comes down to. You have to just be very careful. You have to understand that even though something small like this is small, you hook this up to the back of a Ford Explorer, you hook this up to the back of a Durango, it's actually going to look a lot bigger than you think. It'll probably dwarf the size of your tow vehicle. So I generally recommend you want to have a tow vehicle that at least weighs a couple thousand pounds heavier than this trailer. I'm not saying that about all trailers, I'm just talking about this one in particular. That said, we're going to take a close look at the inside of this unit. We'll come back out, take a close look at the outside. This is probably going to be a pretty short review of this 14R Saga, only because the thing's really tiny. Going up the flip out metal steps. And we don't even have to pan around because this thing is so tiny you can see pretty much the whole interior from here, aside from the bathroom, and we'll talk about that here in a second. So what they've done here is really interesting, and I say that because there's no slide outs on this unit, right? But there's still this feeling of space. You still have a lot of space inside of here, and it actually can sleep quite a few people because this front area turns into a bed, and then you can use this little side area right here as another bed. So you could easily sleep a family of 3, and if you put a little fold-out bed or a sleeping bag on the floor, you could sleep another person for sure. But something like this is really great for folks who are just trying to get out in the marketplace, get into something that is lightweight, relatively easy to tow, and affordable. I think that's kind of the key with something like this. And even though, you know, we talk about the numbers, and I know this isn't the lightest trailer out there, there's some super light fiberglass trailers that are just really designed to be towed behind Jeeps, or even some of the ones that you see at like ROA Off-Road, where we showed some of the off-road RVs. But those things are pretty dang expensive. Whenever you see the price of this, which I'll talk about in a little bit, you're going to see that price-wise, you get a lot of bang for your buck with this, and there's a lot of upgrade options, things that you could do with this basic template if you got it. So don't look at this as something like, man, I hate the way this looks on the inside. Look at this as a project, something you could easily take, love it, use it, live in it, or do whatever you need to do with it, and then gradually add to it. Change things out, put something different right here, you know, add lighting, add paint, do different things to dress this up and make this your own. But that said, you have this long booth right here. This turns into a bed, all this turns into a bed. This collapses down, and you can turn this into a flat area, so you basically make your bed with that. You have your shelf above it. You have pleated blinds on the 3 windows that are in here. You have a nice little kitchen area, so you definitely have the ability to cook some meals and be able to, you know, stay in this. You don't have to get a hotel room or anything. Little plastic single basin sink down here. Got your water faucet up here, 2-burner gas cooktop, your vent, and you can actually vent that out the side as long as the side's open. You have a spot to put a microwave. Storage here. More storage right there. No drawers. It would have been cool if they maybe put a cabinet like this under here and put a small drawer, but I guess you really can't because the sink would get in the way, unless you drop the drawer down a little bit. Furnace, breakers, fuses. You have the inside of your refrigerator, super compact refrigerator, but it'll absolutely get the job done. Space above for more storage. Then you got more storage back here as well. A lot of cool little nooks right here, plus some storage in here. So you could easily put like a little coat hanger in there if you wanted. You have your power awning, which is really nice, and then all your lighting switches here. You can easily add one of those little battery power banks that we all show on YouTube all the time, where you can plug things into it, have that in here, and have a lot of off-grid capability. More storage down there. And then up top, Coleman Mach air conditioning system already in place. Stepping into the bathroom. Not a lot to see here, other than the fact that you actually have a pretty good-sized bathroom. So you have your plastic foot flush toilet right there, shower stall, shower curtain as well. You could take that out, put a radiused arm up here so you have more room in here if you want it. You could put a nice surround on here if you'd like. There's a lot of things you can do to a unit like this over a period of time, and just get to using it, right? Get to camping, get outside, use the RV so you can actually know what it's like. And then as you stay in it longer, you'll be sitting here thinking, we could do that here. We could put a sconce up front. We could put new wallpaper, backer board. We could install another window. We could do all sorts of things. We could make this thing a pretty dang cool kind of off-road RV if we wanted to put the time and money into it. And if you plan on getting something like this, you might want to put that time and money into it. It may be a thrill for you to do different installation things, especially if you're good at woodworking or if you're good at doing things like that. Something like this is almost like a blank canvas. Anyways, let's step outside of this unit and see what it's all about. Okay, so this tiny Viking Saga has an MSRP of $26,363, which I actually think is too expensive. But I don't feel that the sale price is too expensive. It's $16,999, so $17,000. You're getting almost $10,000 off of the MSRP to get into something like this, which makes it affordable and makes it easy for a lot of folks to get into and then to figure out what they want to do with it next. Maybe you want to throw some off-road tires on it. Maybe you want to throw some bigger fender flares on it. Maybe you want to really make the outside lit up. Maybe you want to put different graphics on it. When you're only $17,000 into this, especially if you're financing it, which you want to avoid financing it super long term, but if you can gradually put some money into this, you could really make this thing absolutely awesome. Up front, we have a standard front tongue jack. That's an area you could easily upgrade to a power front tongue jack. Again, you have a single 20-pound propane can. You could easily upgrade to a 30. You could throw a couple bigger batteries in there as well. You could throw solar on top of this unit if you wanted. It has the charge controller on it already, and that is currently locked, but it's just your small pass-through storage that kind of runs halfway across. It doesn't go too far because you have that large area in the center for the table. You got two of your windows on this side. Okay, so I don't see any solar on top of this unit, but you could easily add a charge controller, add a couple panels up there. It is wired for a Furrion wireless backup camera. It's got one single axle on it. Shoot, if you're inspired enough, you could upgrade the full suspension on this thing. You could throw something pretty cool on here if you wanted to. And again, off-road wheels, off-road tires, give this thing a really cool personalized look. And honestly, doing something like that would make this thing really, really appealing if you see it going down the road. 4-inch tubular bumper on the back to throw your sewer connection hose into. You have a little leash link on the side. It's basically a D-ring installed on the side. You have scissor jacks on the back to help stabilize it. Spare tire hanging off the bumper. LED lighting. It is wired for a Furrion camera again. You have your sewer connections down here at the bottom. Outside of your furnace, 30 amp connection here for your air conditioning mainly, but all your lights and all that stuff in the refrigerator also. Little cable satellite connection from the RV park. Right here is this is for your city water connections, water tank fill, and your freshwater drains down at the bottom outside of your water heater. Very cool. But I'd love to know what your thoughts are on a unit like this. What do you feel about taking something like this and upgrading it? Because I feel, if I had this unit, this is what I would do. I get a unit like this, new wheels, new tires, put a nice off-road style tire on it, nice aluminum wheels on it. Right off the bat, that's going to give it a whole different look. It looks like you have the ground clearance to be able to support something like that without having to raise the suspension up at all either, which is really nice. Maybe put a Moride or a Lippert step system that swings out on it. That'd be really nice. Off of the back of it, maybe upgrade the lighting, put some nice strip lighting on it instead. Maybe change the graphics around just a little bit. Some cool fake, kind of those faux rock sliders like you see on some Jayco products, put those kind of running around the outside. Shoot, maybe even do a little bit of a suspension lift to this thing. On the front, put a larger propane tank there, put a nice cover over it, electric front jack, put a nice LED light bar on the front, put an LED light bar on this side, on the other side. On the inside of it, swap some things out, make a nice little seating area on the side here that looks more integrated. But those are some of the things that I think about. There's some of the things that I think you could easily do, and you'd still probably not be much more than $4 or $5 grand into it doing all of those. But what are your thoughts? Please leave a comment below. Guys, if you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, and we'll talk to you again very, very soon.